So that's Jabal Malaika, the mountain on which the angels descended on. Battle of Badr. Sayyidina Jibreel and the Malaika descending on that mountain were distinguished by wearing 3 turbans. Sayyidina Jibreel wore the yellow turban, and the other angels were either wearing white or green turbans with the tail hanging between the tail of the turban between the shoulder blades. And Sayyidina Ali said, this is the crown of the Arabs, as in the turban, the Imam Sharif, the turban. Bismillah, at the moment we have stood at Shuhada Street. In front of us you can see the 2 minars of Masjid al-Arish. I wanted to do 3 short videos just to give you a lay of the land and a bit of geography of how the 3 parties, as in the Muslims, the caravan of the Quraysh led by Abu Sufyan, the Muslims and the Quraysh, all come through Badr, but come through Badr at slightly different times, so they don't see one another, especially the Quraysh, the caravan of Abu Sufyan. Now if you look ahead, between that valley on the northern side is the northern Sadma hill, so that's the one on the left, and that's called the northern Sadma hill, and the one on the right is called the southern Sadma hill. Between those 2 is the valley pass that Sayyidina Sufyan took across the plain of Badr, moving towards the left and to the yellow mountain on your left hand side there, what we know as Jabal Arish, the mountain of the angels. So from there Sayyidina Sufyan passes in the valley and he goes across to, passing through the yellow and black hill. Around the hill he manages to evade the Muslims and lead his caravan safely back to Mecca. But surprisingly, en route he does not even see the Quraysh army because they have missed each other.
We need to mention this is the Badr, this is the warpath.
And in front of you, this plain that you can see, that is the plain of Badr where the battle took place. So the second event to happen in chronological order is the Muslim entry into Badr. Over there, the yellow mountain, or as it's referred to, Jabal Malaika, between there and the mountain on its left, that's called Hannan. It is through, in between those 2 that the Muslims came into Badr. And this actually is referenced in the Quran, where it says when you were on the near bank, and the near bank reference is when the Muslims entered the valley from the top there, that's called the near bank. And it goes on to say, and they were at the further bank, talking about the Quraysh, and we'll show you that in a moment, and the caravan was below you. Had you agreed upon an appointment, you would surely have failed to meet, referring to Sayyidina Abu Sufyan's caravan that was below them and already passed them. So they had failed to encounter the caravan. To give you a perspective again, you have the masjid in front of you. In front of the mosque, this date groves that you see on the open area, that is the battlefield of Badr. And the third party to enter this battlefield or pass through Badr, obviously with the Quraysh, they entered from the further bank that we talked about previously, and that is right in front of us to the right slightly. That is known as Ankal, a Kankal dune, just to the right. And this is where the Quraysh came round, and they were camped behind that mountain on the night of Badr. In front you can see Jabal Malaika slightly towards the right. Sayyidina Ali reports that when he came to the Prophet ﷺ whilst he was asleep in his shelter, remember he'd been awake all night praying, and the Prophet ﷺ woke up and he said, I beseech you, as into Allah, by God, God will give you victory and honour your countenance. The Prophet then prayed, O God, I beseech you to fulfill your promise and pledge. O God, if you so will, you will no longer be worshipped. If you so will, you will no longer be worshipped after today. Abu Bakr said, Enough, O Messenger of God, you have besought your Lord sufficiently. Sayyidina Ali narrates that the Prophet ﷺ, when he woke up, he said, Be of good cheer, Abu Bakr. There is an angel, a yellow turban around his head, holding the reins of a horse coming down from the heavens. Sayyidina Abu Bakr then says that when they looked up, the angel disappeared from sight for a moment, then reappeared with dust on his teeth. The support of God has come to you since you have called upon him, said Jibreel alayhi salam. The Quran describes the moment as follows: when you Muslims cried for your Lord's help and he answered you, I will help you with 1,000 angels rank upon rank. Then the Muslims saw the Prophet ﷺ rush out of his shelter, brandishing his sword and saying, the host will be defeated and put to flight. No, but the hour is the appointed time, and the hour shall be more calamitous and bitter. Umar radiallahu anhu narrates that he heard these verses before when they were revealed in Mecca, but had been unable to understand what they referred to. On that day, as he saw the Prophet ﷺ charge at the enemy reciting those verses, he at last understood. This is the cemetery of Badr. In here lie 13 of the Sahaba that were made shaheed in this battle. The best of the people of any community, of any prophet after the prophets, were the people of Badr. The 14th Sahaba, Ubaidah bin Harith, he is buried en route back to Mecca as he passed away from his wounds that he suffered on this day.